Hi everyone, it's Kirsten from Happy Little Quilt Shop. I promised you a video about these beauties. These are my OESD wedding ring blocks. So I have one in each style. So when you make this quilt, this is one of the individual blocks, and they actually have some that have an additional piece that runs between. They have some that has like a beautiful, like this negative space is colored, and then these become kind of the negative space. So there's several versions of this that are included with that design, and you can get that online via the link. I'll try and remember to link it below too. Or we have designs on demand here in the store where you bring in a flash drive, or you can purchase a flash drive from us for just $5, and we will put the design on the drive for you right here in the store. And then you pop in your machine, you're ready to go. So there's this and this, and you can see how, so basically they would go like this. So you can see how you make one of these and this attaches to this, and then another set, and you keep going across, and that's how you get both of these shapes. And I did them intentionally into very different fabrics so you can see the really different vibe. So this one is a little bit more on the traditional side, but I actually would still call this quite modern. So this is the Rainier collection from Moda, and I would call this quite modern still, simply because of the textures. And then these colors are very trendy with like people my age in their 30s. So I would say that this one is still relatively modern, but on the more traditional side. And then this one is Tula Pink True Colors from Free Spirit. And I would say this is on the very modern side. I think certainly you could make it appear more traditional depending on the fabrics, but I think simply Tula, bright colors, the white negative space reads very modern to me. So things I learned and things I would probably do differently going forward. When I was actually doing, so this is embroidery applique, and so when I was actually doing the embroidery applique, couple things. I used a light mesh because I wasn't sure if I was gonna like end up doing the whole quilt or if this is gonna be a table runner. But I believe they actually recommend medium, sorry, the light's behind me. I picked like the worst spot to film this. I believe they actually recommend medium tearaway or medium cutaway. And I think you do need that, or you need a couple pieces of the mesh stabilizer, simply because this is a very heavy satin, and I feel like I did get some puckering. I feel like it's not too bad actually. This has been crumpled up and touched and played with all day, so it hasn't been pressed, and I don't feel like it's too bad, but I think it could be better. So I would use a stronger stabilizer or more stabilizer. I think I would put SF101 or a fusible woven of some kind on the back of my fabrics, because again, this is a really heavy satin, and this is Moda fabric, so it did not tear, it did not cut into this fabric. But if you were using a fabric that's not as tightly woven, I think it would definitely cut into the fabric. So definitely I would put some kind of fusible woven back here. And then other things. Oh, I matched my top thread and my bobbin thread. I would not do that specifically because the directions tell you not to. And the reason they tell you not to is because when you go to trim, you need to really be able to see these lines. So here it wasn't really an issue because I have a light background, but here with the white, it was a huge issue. It was really, really hard to see exactly where I was supposed to trim. So definitely follow the directions when they say to use a different bobbin color. And I don't feel like I got any pull up. So I wouldn't be worried about that. I feel like this is a really good OESD. Designs are digitized wonderfully. And I did some of this on a Brother, and I did some of this on a Janome. I feel like the stitch quality is both on great because it's really well digitized. Last thing is, because this is an applique, the way that OESD is doing their appliques now, yes, it still includes a cut line, but I am finding more often than not, they give you the templates to cut this beforehand, like a traditional applique. Or if you have a scan and cut, you can cut it with a scan and cut as well. And I would do that. I have found the way that they're doing the cut lines now. So instead of one really heavy line that you can get up nice and close to, it's two finer lines. And unless you almost cut through that first line of stitching, I feel like you get, I don't know if this will zoom in to show you guys. You can see it better on this one. There, right there. I don't know if it'll zoom in, but you can see I've got some orange little bits of my fabric that poked out there. So I definitely would either pre-cut these according to their templates or use a scan and cut, and then fusible to place them so that you're not worried about trimming this. They've really changed their technique, and I think that is important now. So that is everything that I learned while doing these in terms of embroidery. Last thing I'll mention is in terms of sewing. This is very thick seams in here. You have 4 satin stitches that meet up. So I used the M8 to sew these together, and I did go up to a slightly bigger needle. So usually I sew with an 80-12. I sewed these with a 90-14. I felt like that made a huge difference. They are hard to line up. You can see this one is not lined up well. Okay, stop focusing on my face. Focus on my block. There we go. So this one is not lined up well at all. This is much better. This is much, much better. There we go. Yeah, so you can see the satins line up perfectly on this one. So this is much better. I think also the way to piece this is this arrangement versus this arrangement, mostly because of that, when you get to the actual piecing. And then I would say last thing, very, very important, press all these seams open, because when you go to put some batting and backing on this and you have to stitch in the ditch, you're gonna want those seams open so that everything lays really nice. So that is everything I learned while making my wedding ring blocks. I had so much fun. I will do my best to remember to link the design in the comments, but like I said, you can get it right here in store with OESD Designs on Demand. We'll put it right on a stick for you. I hope to see you guys soon.